Hi everyone, welcome back to class. I want to give another example on how to ask a set of questions for a structure. In Matthew chapter 9, 35 to 11:1, we located in our structure, and you can watch another video on this, it's the presence of a cruciality that takes place in Matthew 10, verses 16 through 42. And if you take a look at that section, we have a cruciality that looks like this, and we have a pivotal passage, which is verses 38 and 39. And then the cruciality moves back up here to reach its climax in verses 40 to 42. And here we have 10, 16, all the way down to 37 here. And so here we have a negative reception to the ministry of the disciples, and then we have a positive reception to the ministry. And it seems to pivot on this whole business about taking on cross and saving or finding life, that this is the turning point. So you can go back and look at the video on that particular piece, but what I want to do is illustrate the questions that you can ask when you do such a thing. Now, again, you want to ask three types of questions. And for pivot here, let's start with a definitional question. So something like, what is the precise, and I like to use the words precise and specific, because that reminds our brains that it's not going to be general and generic. So what's the precise and specific meaning, or what is what is precisely and specifically involved in the pivotal passage verses 38, 39 regarding the cross and finding life. Another question would be, how do verses 38 and 39 cause a radical reversal of the negative reception in verses 16 to 37. And then we can also say, what is precisely and specifically involved in the contrast, because remember, there's always going to be contrast and pivot between the positive and the negative sides of the pivot. That would be the positive side is verses 40 to 42. The negative is verses 16 to 37. So those are some definitional questions that you can ask for a cruciality or pivot. Now, I also want to give you a rational question, and the rational question is the why question. So why does Matthew structure Jesus's sending via cruciality? You know, what's the point of him showing the reception is going to be via cruciality? And then we want to ask an implicational question. And here I want to dig down. I usually just say to use the word implications, but I've had students, several of you now, have asked, is there a way to ask a deeper question? The answer is yes, right? But but sometimes they're harder to write. But let me just do a deep dive and give you an example of a really strong implicational question that you can use in this context. And that would be this. What are the full implications of Matthew using cruciality here as a model for presenting the reception of the ministry of Jesus's disciples. So we're not looking for, this isn't a why now, this is more of a so what. So what's the bigger, deeper implications? So we have, again, three types of questions: definitional, rational, implicational. So definitional, these are what's involved. It's trying to give definitions. The rational tries to explain, what's the reason behind a certain structure. And then the implicational goes even deeper than that and tries to answer the question of so what. Hope that helps. There's some other examples of asking questions. Again, the key to diving deeply into any text and getting a profound interpretation is learning to ask really good questions. Hope this helps. I'm Brian Russell. It's my privilege to be your instructor.